Keith Bow from Bow Products, and I'm here today to introduce our new and exciting FeatherPRO Featherboard. Awesome tool. But first, let's go over traditional featherboards as we know them today, which, as you can see, they're pretty much all the same. The configuration is a long plastic finger in one direction and really built for in-feed control. Not so much kickback. And when I say kickback, we're put a short video together and we're going to look at that so you can see just how severe it can be. And then we're going to come back and talk about the FeatherPRO. And now you've seen that video, you can understand the veracity of it. That's what inspired me to come up with this tool. The basic part of the tool is very similar to what you're used to. Plastic body, standard hardware. It's all about this insert, these hardened foam EVA feathers. Let's get into the details. Let's talk about the heart of the tool, and that is the feathers and the material. There's three key differences. Material, the living hinge, and the fact that it's interchangeable. Let's talk about each one of those. Let's break it down one at a time. So now we're going to talk material. We're going to talk about this hardened foam EVA, industrial grade material that we use on our industrial side, and we make a forklift attachment that holds 10,000 pounds, no problem, and recovers afterwards. You'll see that it's flexible, very dense, great memory, which allows us to cut in this hinge design, living hinge, and you'll see that that comes back to neutral and allows this tool to work the way it works. So now we're going to talk about the living hinge feature, which is key to this whole design, and it's just the amazing part of this tool. And you can see that we've cut this material in such a way that we've created a hinge, and the memory of the material allows the hinge to come back. But we're really going to get into detail by setting up a featherboard like you would any other featherboard. You're going to make sure that you're not going to pinch the blade. You're going to apply the tension, that desired tension that you want. And as you see me set this, you'll see a closed hinge open. I have my applied pressure. I'm going to lock it down just like I would any other featherboard. Now I'm good to go. We're going to show just what happens as this board goes through. We hit that first feather. You can see the hinge open. It folds over. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. They're all open now. I have silky smooth glide. But in the event of a kickback, you'll see this hinge close. And as it closes, even before it's closed, it's very aggressive. It's pinching that wood against the fence. It's arresting the kickback. And I've gained maximum advantage when the hinge is closed all the way. And that is it just amazes me every time I look at this and demonstrate it, that it works that well. So that's the second key feature. So now we're going to talk about another feature, which is the fact that they're interchangeable feathers. If you accidentally cut this, and accidents do happen, you simply interchange it. You press one out, you put another one in. And you might even want to use our ultralight, which is another type of tool in the same body. Unlike traditional featherboards, where if you hit the blade, you've destroyed the tool and you throw it out. And you might actually chip the carbide. That does happen. Where this, it will not happen. You'll just simply swap out the insert. So now we're going to talk about another great feature of this product, and that is in-feed control and smooth glide. And that's what you want from any featherboard. But what you get out of the FeatherPRO is much more. You get, as this is set in tension, you have more surface contact with the FeatherPRO than a traditional featherboard, plastic fingers. That allows for more control. It spreads the pressure out. And between that and the material itself allows for a very silky smooth glide. And we're getting feedback from customers that they're very impressed with this feature. And that's what sets us apart. So now we're going to talk about marring and chatter marks left on your product after running through a shaper, router, saw. And how ours will not mar the wood, and because of the material, it absorbs vibration, mitigating chatter marks. So I'm going to just set this. We're going to run this piece of mahogany through here. I'm not going to cut it. I'm going to show you that going through with high pressure. It doesn't matter what the pressure is, it's not going to mar it, and it's not going to leave a black mark. The material is not going to rub off on it. And then we're going to set this traditional plastic featherboard up, and we'll take a look at what happens. So now we're going to run this through, and you'll see, I can see it already, it left a shiny mark. Almost like a small dent. Now, if that's a finished edge, that's a problem. Even if it's not a finished edge, if it's a glued up edge, it won't act the same as the non-marred area. It won't accept the glue the same, or a finish for that matter. So there's another great advantage of the FeatherPRO. So let's talk about what happens when you make incidental contact with a featherboard to a saw blade or router bit, shaper cutter, something like that. It's inevitable. It happens. Accidents happen. And one of the great features of the FeatherPRO is if that happens, you're not going to lose the whole tool. You're not going to ruin your cutter. With a traditional plastic or even a wooden featherboard, under tension, when that slaps the cutter, it can knock the carbide right off and shatter the featherboard. Now you've got a dangerous situation. You've got materials flying about and just not good. And that is the beauty of this material. It's not going to wreck the cutter, and it's not going to hurt you. And it's replaceable. You've saved it. The tool is fine. You just replace the insert. So that's another great feature. Now we set this up to actually make contact with a cutter. We're going to do basically a mock-up dado cut, and we're going to see what happens. And I'm going to use my push stick in an unconventional way. I'm going to put it on its side and push this through so you can clearly see the destruction that's going to happen. So now we're going to take the FeatherPRO and we're going to do the same thing as we did with plastic ones. Amazing. Okay, so now we're going to set this pressure test in comparison up. I'm going to set this plastic featherboard with what I hope to be a fair amount of pressure, and now we're going to measure it. Go ahead, Ron, pull that through. Let's see what you got. We have just under 5 pounds. Now we're going to zero this out, and we're going to see how much force it takes to pull it back. About 6 pounds. So about a 1 pound difference. Let's measure that. We're going to zero out. Go ahead, Ron. What do we have?
About the same.
Just under 5 pounds. Zero it. Let's see what we have coming back. Six to 6.5 pounds. Okay, so now we're going to take the FeatherPRO, we're going to tension it, just like we did with the plastic featherboards. And Ron's going to measure, we're going to zero out, Ron's going to measure the in-feed forces.
5 pounds right in the nose.
5 pounds in-feed pressure. The same as the plastic featherboards. Now comes the exciting part. We're going to measure exactly what kind of force it takes to pull this back. And that's the safety feature. That's what protects you. You're going to see exactly how much force it takes. And you're going to see exactly what happens with the feathers. They're closing, they've closed, we've reached maximum mechanical advantage. Now we have to overcome that. This is what it's all about. 62 pounds of force it took to overcome that. That's the safety feature right there. So now that Ron and I have shown you all the features of the FeatherPRO, hopefully seeing is believing. Do yourself a favor, make your workshop safer, and go get one of those FeatherPROs.
What are you waiting for? Go get one.